Back again with another Furio Watchers video. This particular one is about two of my all-time favourite hip-hop producers, DJ Premier and Pete Rock. This video is showing off some of their best productions. To me, both of these producers are really good at chopping their samples up, rearranging them, flipping them into something completely different, something completely unique. Both of them also make really good use of the 16 levels button on the MPC. So I've made a video all about that 16 levels button and how good it is, the different features of it. Basics of it: when you push that 16 level button, you can set it so each pad plays the sample at a different volume, or you can change it so each pad plays it at a different pitch. So you can get a single sound and actually play it in as an instrument across the different pads. So let's see what's first up.
Just be careful how you treat your loved one. You must remember to be fair.
Yeah, Primo production. This is one where he's really chopped up this sample well and rearranged it, flipped it into something really great. This is a Big L track that was on his second album that came out in 2000, not long after he passed away. Very sad, 24 years old, Big L passed away. He was well respected, got a lot of recognition, which is why you've got the likes of Primo and Pete Rock producing for him. So let's have a listen to this Primo beat.
Big L.
Pete Rock has really chopped this sample up so well. Another one from Big L's second album from 2000. This particular record is sampled quite an obscure one. A guy called Johnny Dankworth, who's a British composer. You may know him if you listen to the library music records that I often talk about. Johnny Dankworth appeared on a lot of the KPM albums that are really popular for hip-hop producers to take samples from. This particular record is all about Charles Dickens, so all the tracks on it are related to Charles Dickens. So this one, Please Sir, I Want Some More, is from Oliver Twist. Let's have a listen.
I sex them chicks and send them home. Coleon is known to be stoned. When I bone, I'm rubbered up in case that shit full blown. The other night around 8 p.m.
Such a good track there, that Joe Chambers Mind Rain. This one isn't particularly chopped up. It's just using that dark piano, using two different parts of it and flipping that into an amazing beat off Nas's debut album. This shows that Primo definitely listens to the records fully. You'll see a lot of producers and they will only ever sample from the first part of tracks. So they're obviously just skipping through, not really listening. This sample comes well over a minute into the track. So he's obviously listening through to the tracks fully, trying to spot different parts of it that can be used. You know the sample, you know the track. Let's have a listen.
Rappers are monkey flipping with the funky rhythm I be kicking. Musician, inflicting composition of pain. I'm like Scarface sniffing cocaine.
Another one off Nas's debut album. This goes to show how respected Nas was to be able to draw in some of these top producers who all wanted to work with him. Which is why this album has really stood the test of time. Still an absolute classic. One that I still listen to very regularly. This sample, not really chopped up particularly. It's just finding that part of the track. Ahmad Jamal, such an amazing musician he was. In my last video, I had a sample from him. And yeah, sadly we lost him earlier this year. Legend.
Whose world is this?
The world is yours. The world is yours.
It's mine, it's mine, it's mine. Whose world is this?
Divinity and humanity touched in a manger. When God became man to live as one.
Interesting fact about this one, Primo nearly threw that record away where the sample was taken from. He looked at it and went, it's not going to be very good this, some weird religious record. Boy was he wrong. This has just been flipped into one of the most iconic Nas tracks ever. The chops on this, absolutely brilliant. He's completely changed the timing of this record and changed it to a 4/4 beat when the original record isn't in that time signature. Absolute classic.
Freedom of jail clips inserted. A baby's being born, same time a man is murdered. The beginning and end. As far as rap goes, it's only.
This one here is an example of why you should listen to your records all the way through when you're looking to make a sample. This particular one is on the absolute last part of the track as it's fading out. And Pete Rock has taken that one small part of it, used that into making a great track for AZ. So let's have a listen. This is quite a mad sample, this one. This is another one of those that is taken from one of those library music records that were designed for use in film, TV, radio productions. So Primo's taken this one, really chopped it up and come up with something different. It's for a guy that isn't particularly well known, a guy called Deams, who's from Amsterdam, and he is actually an official extended member of the Gang Starr Foundation. He's worked with a lot of other well-known people. He's worked with Ice-T, Chuck D from Public Enemy, Jeru Tha Damaja, Big Daddy Kane, De La Soul. So this particular track was just like an intro for an EP of Deams. Not a particularly well-known one, but I thought it was quite a good sample chop. So let's have a listen to it.
Yeah, terrorize your city from the split committee. What up, Deams? Terrorize your city from the split committee.
Such a famous sample, this one, from Tom Scott with the California Dreamers. Pete Rock's a big fan of this particular album, and he has taken other samples as well that he's used on some of his other tracks. So let's have a listen. So that sample there didn't get discovered for quite a long time after the record came out, Gang Starr track. What it is with that, the sample has been chopped up and it's also been pitched down by quite a bit. Now I've loaded that sample into my MPC trying to recreate it. It really is not as straightforward as what it might sound. So props to Primo for actually coming up with that. Really, really genius the way that he's flipped that record, that jazz record, and turned it into an iconic Gang Starr track. I told you Pete Rock was a big fan of that particular record, the Tom Scott with the California Dreamers. What he's done with this particular one though, he's really chopped up the sample and he's made absolute brilliant use of that 16 levels button on the MPC. So we set it to velocity and he's done it so each pad plays a different volume. So he's giving it that kind of echoing, fading out sound on the chop. Used it brilliantly on this Public Enemy remix that he did. So let's have a listen to it.
I testified, my mama cried. Black people died when the other man lied. See the TV, listen to me, double trouble.
This has got to be one of my favourite Primo chops with his samples. The way he's just taken this, chopped it up, and it's all about the rhythm that he's played with the pads. Completely changed the rhythm of the original record, flipped it into this great track with Jay-Z. So let's have a check of it.
I did it again.
What a track this is. I Get Physical, Pete Rock and CL Smooth. This one, it's more of a straight up loop, but it was just how he's actually found that particular part of the record, used that, and then using scratching over the top of it, taking a vocal from Bismarcky. So let's have a check of this.
I get physical. I get physical. I get physical.
More classic Nas. In one of my recent videos on the MPC, I've actually shown exactly how he's chopped this up and made this sample work. He's used a combination of a straight up loop and then just taking one tiny little segment of it and playing a rhythm on the MPC pads. Absolutely brilliant. This album wasn't released until the 70s. The music from it is from much earlier. It's a compilation album of all music from silent movies. So let's have a listen to this.
They call me Nas, I'm not your legal type of fella. My wet drinking, marijuana smoking street dweller who's always on the corner, rolling up blessed.
Where do I go?
Pete Rock definitely likes sampling from soundtracks. This one from Hair the Musical, one of many different versions of this album that have been released over the years. The particular sample is used, it's actually quite low down in the mix, but I think it works really well the way he's flipped this. RUN-D.M.C track, let's have a listen. Another soundtrack sample, this time from Primo. This is another one where I've loaded this sample into my MPC to try and recreate it. And it's another one of those, it really is not as straightforward as it sounds. It sounds like you should just be able to chop this up and really easily replay it exactly how he's done it. But it just doesn't come out sounding the same. So definite props to Primo on this one. Let's have a check of it.
You know the chronicles, the shit that if mama knew, the stress, the drama do, the text phenomenal, rapid fire, pecs through the abdominal.
The chops on this one by Pete Rock are insane. The way he's chopped this up, he's also made use of the 16 level button on pitch, so he's pitched the sample up and down at various parts, but he's completely changed the rhythm from that original record to the rhythm that he's come up with is absolute genius as far as I'm concerned. So let's have a check of this.
Your Highness, live from the bricks, 1-6. Peak wide, bang your head, break the drumsticks. Verbal assault, rhymes ripple through the mix.
This has got to be one of the most complex sample chops that Primo's ever done. He has taken so many different parts of the record from the Fatback Band, chopped it up and flipped that into something that sounds nothing like the original. One of my recent videos on the MPC, I've tried to show exactly what he's done with this sample. If that's something you're interested in, make sure you have a check of that.
Bucka, 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 bucka. You know the deal.
This sample was actually in my previous video I've just done, so I'm not really going to say much more about this, apart from great track, great Jeru track as well. Let's have a listen.
I leap over lies in a single pound. The Black Prophet, one day I got struck by knowledge of self.
Absolutely amazing sample, this one. Primo has taken a really small part of this jazz sort of easy listening track, scratched it in and turned it from something really nice into a really dark track, overlaid over the top of it, scratching in off Public Enemy Chuck D. I'm sure you all know this, but let's have a listen.
Man, can't tell me nothing about this coke. Can't tell me nothing about this crack, this weed.
Obscure album, this one, from 1970, an entire album where everything was using the Moog synthesizer. Pete Rock's used this on a remix for Daz Effects, and the interesting thing is that Primo produced the original version of it. So let's have a listen. So that's it, end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're finding some of the bits of information I'm telling you useful or interesting. Shameless plug again, I have got a new album out on Bandcamp. 6 albums out now in total. Even if you don't want to buy them, you can listen to them for free. So have a check at them, link in description. And again, thanks for watching.